flat left long over crest. Flat crest into long 4 right.
Hello and a warm welcome to Special Stage, the new rally review show bringing you all the best action from the UK rally and off-road racing scenes. Coming up in this episode, we've got mud, sweat and tears with action from round 1 of the Britpart MSA British Cross Country Championship before getting on the pace notes and down to Somerset for round 3 of the BTRDA Rally Championship. And then lastly, rallying brings to the stage the ultimate mix of concentration, driver agility, competition and outright speed. But sometimes these elements combine to create a show of a very different kind. Ever wondered what a roll cage was for? Yes, coming up later in the show, we've got the spills to go with the thrills as we show you just how challenging this sport can be. So stay tuned for some of this. A little bit of this. And plenty of this. So first to the BCCC, the UK's premier off-road racing championship. Man and machine head-to-head on some of the country's toughest terrains. Round 1 sees the crews arrive at Ashby, and with an interesting mix of machinery, the championship launches into action for 2010. Let battle commence. The 2010 Britpart British Cross Country Championship sees the return of some familiar faces together with some new crews. Last year's champion Richard Kershaw is back to defend his title in last year's championship winning car. Championship runner-up Dan Lofthouse also returns, but with the new car still not finished, his old car is changed to run a smaller engine, so he'll have to push hard here this weekend. Last year's third place finisher Tim Dilworth was back in his trusty 206 STI. And with winter modifications to improve reliability and reduce the weight, he would be looking for some good results this season. 2009 Trophy Rally winner Bob Seaman is also back, and he steps up to the main event for 2010, complete with a new, more powerful car. So let's jump straight into the action and see if the newcomers can shake up the results here this weekend. Tim Dilworth comes to round 1 with a game plan, to push hard on the first few runs and open up a healthy advantage for he and his co-driver to hold on to for the rest of the event. The plan seemed to be working as the pair edged out a 25-second lead after the first few runs. Outgoing champion Richard Kershaw found himself chasing down Dilworth, setting some equal times now that the leader had turned down his initial push. Mixing things up and setting some good times was Steve Hyatt in his Warrior Indy, an older, heavier car than that of the top runners, but he makes up for it with a power advantage from the whopping 7-litre Chevy engine, currently lying in third place and only 16 seconds down on Kershaw. We saw him at Sweet Lamb last year, but this year Gordon Monahan was back for a full championship campaign in his RS200 styled car and was lying 4th after the first few runs. Looking for some better luck this season, Martin Gold would finish his first 3 runs in 5th place, despite a scare when the car overheated on the way to his first run. With the car down by around 100 brake horsepower or more to the leading drivers, Dan Lofthouse was having to keep his right foot on the floor, but a good 6th place after the first few runs showed promising speed at this early stage. Ian Roberts, in his Rakeway Richback, were another new entry for this season, and a very respectable start to their day resulted in 7th place. Matt Lee was setting some good times at the start of the day, but he was struggling as the course started to cut up, Still 8th overall, however, after the first few runs. A few places behind was newcomer Charlie Evans, 9th place at this stage. Justin Birchall was back for 2010 with the same car and a few changes, one of which being a new co-driver in Ross Butterworth. A cautious start to settle into the new changes saw the pair hold 10th place. Carl Gudgeon and Peter King weren't having the best of starts, with a hold-up on stage 1, followed by a problem when the master switch on the GSR Evo 10 cut out on the hairpin. These problems saw Gudgeon in 11th place after 3 runs. One of 2 Metro 6R4 cars here this weekend, Ivan Dudley and David Rendell were immediately quick out of the blocks. Sadly a little too quick on this first fast section of the course, landing the car in a ditch, and the lost seconds mean 12th place overall. It would also be a bad start for Ian Rochelle in the Millington-powered Maserati. Steering problems right off the start line meant the car was having to handbrake turn round the corners. Out of contention for the win perhaps, but still managing to occupy 13th place at this point. Martin Cox was back this year with his Cosworth-powered Tornado Evo 1. 14th place after this morning. Ryan Cook was driving the Land Rover Defender well, but must have been losing time somewhere. 15th after 3 runs. Having only just acquired the new car, Mike Moran would be using this event as his first real test, but a course blockage on run 1 and fuel pump problems on the following run put him down in 16th place. Challenging for the 2010 title in a new Lexus-powered Milner, Bob Seaman described the car as a rocket ship, but he was still getting used to the extra power. 17th place so far. Returning to the championship after a year out, Ken Powell was struggling with the faster sections of the course, coming from a more off-road and trialling background. Martin Conboy was currently lying in 19th place in his Tornado. Richard Green in his Bowler Tomcat rounded up the top 20 after 3 runs. Further down the results, Steve Smith was struggling to get to grips with his new car. The JRG Focus M3, quite different to last year's car. He was lying in 23rd place. Bad luck on the very first run of the day for Alan Wilkinson in the Milner R5, the fast right-hander catching him out and throwing the car into the scenery. And it would be a scary moment for the following crew of Phil Ibbotson and Will Jefferson in the 6R4 Evo, just missing contact with the stricken car round this blind corner. The 6R4 pair went on to finish the morning runs in 26th place. Currently in the lead of the trophy rally is the Bowler Tomcat of Richard Wynne Williams, equal to 21st overall. 15 seconds further back in a Bowler Wildcat was Michael Bain, while third in the trophy rally was currently Adam Evans in the Milner R4.